What? What the fuck? This is too much, even for me. A dude who talks about politics from a cat girl avatar with the bio lizard from Sonic Adventure 2 resting on my head, selling body pillows with cat boy milk sitting on an ice table in the middle of a level from Banjo-Kazooie. That level of ridiculousness does not cap what I just heard from Matt Walsh. It is most certainly time for Walrus Discord. We're covering Walsh. We're covering Walsh. But before we get into that, Nike has sent in this fan art here. They said, Suris in a sweatshirt? Is that legal? No, it's not. Everything you just posted here, completely illegal. And it is because it's illegal that it is a moral good. Continuing on, we have this one from XXCrossXX. Fan art. Hope you like it. I do like it. I need to get back to using Witch Suris, because Witch Suris is unironically one of my favorite models that Bonbon has made. We just need to get blend shapes put on it so that I can use it with the iPhone. But I do really like Witch Suris, and this piece is absolutely wonderful. I also really like the claws. I really like the claws. I'm not even gonna lie. Witch Suris is best 3D Suris. I think my favorite outfit is the Witch outfit. Like of all the 3D Suris outfits, I think Witch is my favorite one. In 2D, I think my favorite one is still the original, but in 3D, I think that it's definitely Witch. Socialist using iPhone, bruh. I know, imagine using an iPhone for work as a socialist. Imagine being a worker in today's climate. Open source is the way. Unfortunately, that is not a possibility for doing VTubing. If you want to get facial tracking the way that I do, then you are not going to be able to get that with anything but an iPhone, unfortunately. Said in 2D, I think Slime Suris wins. I think Slime Suris is a wonderful second place, followed by Version Killer. I know that there are people who have Terminal Horny in chat, who probably think that Version Killer is the ultimate and bestest one of the 2D outfits. You have Terminal Horny. That said, as always, thank you all for your fan art submissions. Let's go ahead and take a look at what Matt Walsh has to say to a group of children. Now, remember, before we get into this, what is it that the left is usually we usually get argued against us a lot? It gets argued against us that we are indoctrinating children, right? We're indoctrinating children. We are teaching them the cursed ways. We are transing the children is something that we always hear. And, you know, maybe they would have some water to stand on. Conservatives, that is. If we didn't see shit like this happen.
Okay. Johnny's a boy with a big imagination. One day he's a dog, the next day a crustacean.
So, Matt Walsh has made himself a children's book. And this children's book is called Johnny the Walrus. Can you kind of see where this is going? Can you kind of see where this is going already? I imagine you can. It's not very hard. Like, the narrative's going to be, well, Johnny imagines himself as these things, but he's not really these things. But, you know, categorically, none of these are genders. You're not a dog gender or, you know, you're not Godzilla gender. You're not knight gender. You're not, as much as Jordan Peterson would probably like this, you're not crustacean gender. At most, Johnny's a furry.
It's like a crab or a lobster. One morning, he came downstairs barking and clapping, wood spoons for tusks and sock fins a-flapping. He had spoons in his mouth. He was pretending to be a walrus.
Aw, look at that. He added things to his body to make himself seem more like something he's not. Aw, isn't it so cute? Isn't this a wonderful, very thinly veiled allegory from Matt Walsh for top surgery? Like, Jesus Christ.
I'm Johnny the Walrus, he said with a roar. The wood floor's my ocean. The carpet's my shore. He's swimming around like a walrus. Isn't that silly? Johnny's mom.
Isn't it silly? Isn't it silly that this child is operating in a way that Matt Walsh thinks is silly?
Loves her son's make-believe time. You're Johnny the Walrus till you change your mind, Mommy says. But Johnny's mom's phone said it's not just pretend. So she went on her phone, and there were people telling her that this isn't pretend, he's really a walrus.
Yes. Thing that definitely famously happens in transgender discourse. Person says they are in fact an animal, and everyone agrees that they are in fact an animal. Except no. Also, yeah, what is that? Who gave this child a mullet? What kind of parent in 2021 gives their child a mullet? Card Shark, thank you very much for redeeming your points for an oh. He looks like he's photoshopped in. The kid looks like he's been photoshopped in. I understand this is just the depth of field effect for the camera, but dear God, between the uncanniness of the mullet and why am I being distracted by the mullet? Why is that the thing that I'm stuck on? Oh my God, that's such an old vine. That is such an old vine, Dr. Dino, but we'll have to do it anyway. On all levels, except physical, I am a walrus. But, okay, so, again, we know where this is going. We know what he's trying to do. He's trying to say that Johnny played pretend, and now that, people on the internet said that his playing pretend wasn't actually, it wasn't actually pretend. It was actually real the whole time. Now, in reality, we actually have medical professionals and people who actually, study gender, study children's psychology, study sociology. And those people tend to make a lot of observations on children before they can determine anything like this. The way that we would normally go about this is by seeing if a child does indeed perform better under another gender. And one of the things that we will do to buy children time is puberty blockers, something that is largely reversible. But in any case, none of this has anything to do with pretending to be an animal. The analogy is ridiculously flawed. But let's continue. Let's continue the cringe.
Only a bigot would say that. How dare you offend? What's a bigot? Anybody know? The mean person, right?
No, a bigot is not a mean person. You can be nice and be a bigot. That's not how that works. A bigot just means that you are intolerant of other people. You are intolerant of other people's positions and opinions. You can be the nicest person in the world and be a bigot. You can be the most accepting person in the world and be an asshole. A bigot is not just a mean person. But now, there's probably going to be a bunch of kids who are going to take that word and they're just going to randomly be saying bigot. And their mom's going to be wondering, where the fuck did you learn that word? I just had to pop my neck. And the other neck. Yeah, asking kids what a bigot is, that's like, I don't know, Matt. You didn't want to be cringe. You didn't want to sound like you're indoctrinating kids, but here you are doing this shit. The boys with the worst haircut seem to be the least interested in the book. Well, they don't give a shit. Matt, what's the story about? It's about first of all, don't call me Matt. It's Mr. Matt, and the story is actually about transgender people. That's all. It's actually, I do not like transgender people, and this book is about how I do not like them, and I do not like that the left is indoctrinating children about transgender people. So I made a literal children's book to indoctrinate children in my opinions about transgender people, because the left is bad, because they indoctrinate children about transgender people, which is why I, the pure and righteous and virtuous Matt Walsh, have made a book to indoctrinate children about transgender people. Jesus fucking Christ, Matt.
Mommy was told to take John for a checkup. All these people are holding signs. Johnny is a real walrus, one sign says.
Let Johnny transition. Johnny is a real walrus. Human walruses are real walruses. Stop anti-walrusism. Is the thinly veiled propaganda? Is it here yet? Do you get it? Do you know what he's trying to do? Do you fucking understand? Like, holy shit. What the fuck? Matt, come on, dude. Come on. I understand that when you made this, the entire point, what you wanted to do was to make a lovely little children's book. That is, I didn't realize that button would do that as well. I didn't realize that button would actually take me out of where I was. That is cringe. I should not use that button ever again. But you wanted to make a book that you could sell for money that definitely did the thing that you accuse all your opponents of doing. And it's totally about walrusism. Do you ever think that there's going to be kids who read this book and they're not going to make the connection between this and trans people? They're going to be like, yeah, people aren't bad. You're actually not going to make the anti-trans bigots you want with this. You know what you're going to end up making, Matt? More than anything, you're just going to end up making people anti-furry. Like, I know that Matt's probably anti-furry too. He's definitely anti-furry. But all you're doing is creating bigotry against furries when your target is trans people. Which, I mean, I guess to you, would just be considered what? Collateral damage? No kids are going to read this by choice. No, they're not. This is going to be like those freaking freedom books that parents have to read alongside their kids. Because no kid's going to pick this up and be like, Mommy, I want to read Johnny and the Walrus.
Human walruses are real walruses. Let Johnny transition, all these people are saying. You'll need to eat worms and to put on gray makeup.
Yes, eating worms. Famous thing that trans people have to do. Yes, worm consumption. Definitely a thing that generally happens that trans people have to do. Not... Now, what he's talking about, the allegory should be obvious. The allegory is HRT. You're going to have to be on HRT, and you're going to have to be more, femininely performative. That's what's being argued here. But these kids, with their reading comprehension, they're not going to make that connection. They're just going to look at that and go, yeah, eating worms is gross. You know what's something a child could actually understand as being like analogous to HRT? They're fucking Flintstones vitamins. Middle kid seems interested. Yeah, look at this kid. Look at this one right here. He wasn't on board until you said eating worms.
The worms give you whiskers, the gray blends you in, the doctor says. And a simple procedure cuts feet into fins.
Oh no, it's so scary. It's the mere concept of surgery. Very scary. Very scary, especially when we frame it as if the dude's freaking Jason Voorhees. Also, Drakadon, thank you very much for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. Said, yeah, I take my worms every day, 3 times a day, right alongside my Booba Skittles. Yes, eat your worms and your titty Skittles. It is the objectively correct thing to do. His degree is in woke. The doctor has a degree in wokeology. He's ready to hurt. He's ready to hurt you. Also, am I the only one that sees the coloration here as looking kind of weird? I don't know what it is. The doctor looks like he's colored almost like a flag. Not even the trans flag, but it just, the coloration is weird to me.
Procedure cuts feet into fins. The doctor wants to cut into Johnny and make him into a walrus.
That's scary.
It's gross eating worms, Mom.
It's so gross. It's so scary. It's so scary. The whole thing is so terribly scary. But think about it. Just think about it for half a second. What he's trying to paint as terrifying is the mere idea of surgery. It's just surgery. That's all it is. Like, think about if a kid was a burn victim and they needed reconstructive surgery because they were a burn victim.
So we know that we live...
Shut up, Matt. And Matt was showing this there. Like, think of reconstructive surgery just absolutely terrifying a child because of this. When that's really all we're talking about. Like, functionally, that's all we're doing. But it gets better. Because you see, it's not just that Matt Walsh has made a children's book and he is trying to pilot it to kids. He's trying to push it on them. No. It's more than that. He's mad that his book got removed from Amazon.
Now, you all know that normally I like to have fun on this show. As much fun as I am constitutionally capable of having anyway, which isn't much, so never mind. The point is that today, I have to get very serious.
He has to be serious today?
Even a little emotional, perhaps.
Emotional? The propaganda children's book that you spent 10 fucking minutes making got pulled off Amazon. Oh, I'm so sad.
You probably remember that I began this week in a state of elation, deeply proud of the fact that my children's book, Johnny the Walrus, about a boy who identifies as a walrus, had not only become one of the top 5 best-selling books on Amazon, but it also made it onto Amazon's LGBT book list, where it was number 1. My Walrus novel had only been on sale for a few days, but already it was the most popular piece of LGBT literature in the world, topping the list and beating out such LGBT titles as Filthy Bromance and Holiday and Daddy's Little Christmas. These are
Never heard of any of those books. But here's the thing, Matt. You want to know one of the reasons why one of your books is able to do that? Do you want to know the actual reason why that happens? Matt, you have a YouTube channel with 451,000 subscribers, with millions of views on all of your stuff. 80.8 million views, to be precise. Matt, when you have a platform like that, you can do anything and it will sell really, really well. You also uniquely have an audience that is incredibly engaged out of anger, out of fear, out of irrationality. Because of that, these are people who are also more prone to buying things. Specifically, things that should be shields. Think about it. You've got an army of soccer moms that are absolutely terrified, or soccer dads. I really don't see how you might be appealing to many women, but that's just me. You've got an army of these people who are terrified that their children might one day be transed. And that fear creates an environment where if you give them something that ostensibly can operate as a safeguard against the fact that their child might be transed, then they're going to pick up that safeguard because they are afraid. There is no more desperate buyer. There is no quicker buyer than one in fear. If you are afraid that you are going to dehydrate to death, the fear of death will compel you to spend hundreds of dollars on a single bottle of water if it can ensure your prolonged survival. If you are a Christian who believes that being trans is the gateway drug to going and burning in hell forever, you will spend any amount of money on anything, any snake oil that will potentially convince you that you can keep your child safe from that ultimate fate. Matt has cultivated such an audience of non-skeptical thinkers and instead reactionary people who operate on fear that it is very easy to sell an item such as the one that he created. Again, the book itself, that book, couldn't have taken him more than 10 minutes to think up, and maybe another 15 to write. I shudder to think of who he got to do the artwork. But even to call it a novel, that's another fucking joke. Also, Deathly Sentinel, thank you very much for the follow. Let's continue to cringe.
They're all real titles, by the way. It even bested the classic Sexted by Santa, Thrust into Love, Book 4. They probably should have stuck with Sexted by Santa trilogy. You know, the narrative really lost its momentum in the 4th installment. Some critics are reporting anyway. Kind of a naked cash grab in more ways than one, you might say. But in any case.
Aw, Matt, what is this projection you're doing? A naked cash grab? Why, what kind of a naked cash grab could we possibly be talking about? Maybe Chuck Tingle will make a book mocking it. Oh, that would be the day. Oh, that would be amazing. Everything about what you just suggested exists in my ideal reality.
I had suddenly become the most prominent, influential, celebrated, and revered LGBT voice in the world.
What? Okay, I understand that Matt is no stranger to hyperbole. Even crazy hyperbole. Like absolutely nuts levels of flat out lying. But nobody was saying that you were a voice that was celebrated among LGBTQ people. Absolutely not. And you know what? The Big the Cat theme playing in the background right now? Perfect. Big the Cat's theme is the absolute best theme for this face. Look at that face. And just... Like that song, for some reason, when I see Matt Walsh's stupid face, this right here, Big the Cat's theme is the only thing that is popping in my mind from here on out. Said it's definitely a Coomer face. Yeah, remember, indoctrinating children's bad. That's why Matt is mad that he can't indoctrinate children anymore.
And possibly in all of history. I didn't expect to be put in that position, but I was ready to fulfill the responsibilities of that office faithfully. I had big plans for the LGBT movement, of which I was now the sole and unquestioned leader.
What? What the fuck? This is too much, even for me. A dude who talks about politics from a cat girl avatar with the bio lizard from Sonic Adventure 2 resting on my head, selling body pillows with cat boy milk sitting on an ice table in the middle of a level from Banjo-Kazooie. That level of ridiculousness does not cap what I just heard from Matt fucking Walsh.
Yes, it's true that I am heterosexual, but there's no reason why that should exclude me from holding this title. I am a straight LGBT author and leader and walrus awareness advocate. These are all parts of my complex and intersectional identity. I am an enigma, even to myself.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Matt, anybody who's watched even an iota of your content knows that this is absolutely rabid, dumbass hyperbole. But you know what it is. You know you're playing a part. You know you're trolling. Get to the point where you're ass mad.
My identity is a vast mosaic of different elements and pieces, all adding up to one beautiful yet complicated whole. And from these mysterious depths sprang forth the work of tortured genius, known as Johnny the Walrus. Does all this sound extremely narcissistic and nonsensical? Perhaps.
Yeah, it's because it is.
But that only again proves why I deserve to be the voice of the LGBT movement.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to give it to you, Matt. I'm going to give it to you, Matt. You managed to make a joke about the LGBTQ that was not the attack helicopter joke. You did it. You did it. Holy shit. Can we give... As terrible as that joke is, as stupid as it is, as lowbrow and nonsensical as the joke is, it is, at the very least, different than the attack helicopter joke we've been hearing for the last 5 years. On some level. Can we at least get some claps in chat? Can we get, you know what? You know what? I don't know if it is can we get unblinkings in chat? Is that a thing that we have at the moment? Has that emote gone through? Are people able to use that yet? I don't think so. Slime Suris, then. Slime Suris in chat. It could be either version of Slime Suris. Then he deserves the second joke award. Congratulations, you get the second joke award. You get the second joke award. So as a furry, you're not a fan of the Walrus book. Again, I am 100% certain that the only thing he'll accomplish with that is just creating anti-furry children. It's 10 whole letters different. It's 10 whole letters different. I wanted there to be unblinking responses to this, but apparently Twitter has not allowed that, or Twitch has not allowed that emote yet. But okay. Come on, Matt. Continue to give me reasons to lose faith in humanity as a collective whole.
Which is what I am. Yet, in an act of mutiny and treason, my fellow LGBT activists turned on me. They complained bitterly about the fact that my book was on the LGBT charts. They were
So, can we go ahead and accept the fact that Amazon's bots put your book on that chart? Like, your clout beforehand is the reason that book sold as it did to begin with. And Amazon's bots, because of the thinly veiled nature of your goddamn propaganda, Amazon's bots happen to categorize yourself that way. Let me give you an example of how this happens. And Ivana, which scene do you want to go back to in the book? Because I'm not going to flip through the whole thing. But let me give you an example of how ridiculous this is. I am not an anime channel. In fact, actually, it can be argued that I'm more of an anime channel now than I was 3 years ago, but I'm still not an anime channel. 3 years ago, a screenshot from a viewer's computer was sent to me where I was in the anime category on their YouTube recommending feed. How? How? Well, it's very easy. It's very obvious. Bots. Bots get you there. I can't head back to that panel, Ivana. I'm sorry. I've actually closed the tab and opened up Matt's stupid face in a different tab. I'm sorry. Said it's more Sonic and Resident Evil than an anime one. Yes, it is. The new slime is missing. We will get it back. Do not worry.
envious Indeed, they didn't want it on any charts at all. I reported yesterday that Media Matters had published a hit piece accusing me of transphobia and other assorted thought crimes. Glad the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation aligned itself with my defamers.
Wait. Oh, no. Okay, so here's the thing. The Gay and Lesbian Alliance? Let me double check myself. Pretty sure the Gay and Lesbian Alliance are actually problematic. Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. Pretty sure I have heard these people referenced. Ah, okay. Yep. LGB Alliance, the Gay and Lesbian Alliance, all of it. Also, Antipy and Squid, thank you very much for the raid. Thank you. There's a part over here from the Washington Post where the Gay and Lesbian Alliance were saying that lesbians are going extinct. Of course, Matt is going to grab the actual transphobic side of that group. So what happens here? If you're on the left and you are actually like familiar with a lot of the stuff, and let me make sure. Okay, so that's the LGB. No, it's just the LGB Alliance that does that. Not GLAD. Hold on. Make sure.
GLAD, the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, aligned itself with my defamers, calling on Amazon to remove the book from the LGBT category.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Of course, Matt. An organization like GLAD that supports shit like the Trevor Project would, in fact, ally themselves against you because, well, if you are conservative and watching this, you may hear things like the LGB Alliance and think, oh, well, you see, the gays and the lesbians, they don't want the trans people either. That's where I thought he was going with it. But let's continue.
Other activists chimed in, some of them tagging Jeff Bezos, calling on Amazon's founder to address the matter personally. In the greatest act of betrayal, my favorite website, the gay news site Pink News, published an article with this title: Right-wing pundit gloats as Amazon lists hateful transphobic book as LGBT plus bestseller. And the article explains, Amazon has listed a hateful transphobic children's book by the Daily Wire's Matt Walsh as its #1 best-selling LGBT book. Walsh, a right-wing writer who has compared gender-affirming healthcare to experimentation, molestation, abuse, and rape, recently announced that he has written a horrific anti-trans children's book, Johnny the Walrus, set to be published in March. The book began taking pre-orders this month on Amazon, which has inexplicably classed it as an LGBT book. In a review, the right-wing publication The Blaze said, Matt Walsh's work is an effort to push back against radical gender ideology, which defies biological reality. But if anything says ideology, surely it's a book that tells children that expressing their gender means being forced to eat worms and having their feet cut off. Johnny the Walrus.
Yeah, that's kind of where I had issues too. Like, again, the worms were obviously analogous to HRT. Cutting off was very analogous to top or bottom surgery. Jekt also, thank you very much for the follow, which is analogous to cutting off your own feet. I'm kidding. You might enjoy yourself here. I don't know, but I had issues with those areas as well. But continue.
Walrus, supposedly aimed at 3 to 5-year-olds, tells the story of a little boy who pretends to be a walrus. Johnny's mother is pressured by the internet to tell her child that he is a walrus, and protesters are shown with signs claiming human walruses are real walruses. The most twisted attack on trans kids is when Johnny's mom takes him to the doctor, who tells him he must only eat worms, constantly wear itchy gray makeup, and have his feet cut into fins. Well, I just opened my Christmas present, which is a set of Kamikoto knives. And look,
Nope, we're done. You don't plug your shit. You don't plug your shit. When you plug, we plug. We got two plugs. The first plug is from DDLG Playground. If you, Matt Walsh, need a onesie for today, for the Christmas spirit, so that you can look and feel like the child you are, then it would maybe be a good idea to head over to DDLG Playground and get yourself one of those. Use coupon code Suris to get 10% off. If you are anybody else here, you can get a plug to go pleasure yourself there. That would be fun. But if you are one of the people who watches me because you hate watch me, maybe you should go to DDLG Playground anyway. Pick up a dildo, pick up a plug, pick up a vibrator, pick up something to stick up your own ass and shove it. But make sure to use coupon code Suris when you go fuck yourself. The other sponsor we have, of course, is Artesian Builds. If you want a computer built very, very well and also live on stream, then use coupon code NECOSURIS over at Artesian Builds to get the $200 off. any PC build that they are doing over there, which is certainly a good deal anyway, considering that PC building is kind of expensive these days. Anywho, there's them's the two plugs. There's our ham-fisted retaliation against Walsh. Anywho, as always, everybody, I gotta throw this back to you guys. I gotta throw this into the comment section. I need to know what you think, because from my perspective, this is very obvious. Like, we know that he's being hyperbolic. We know he's doing this. Matt knows he's doing this. But his audience is just gonna suck this all up and think, oh my god, we're being so persecuted. All of us are being so terribly persecuted. It's so bad. It's horrible. But they're not. It's literally the attack gets thrown by Matt. I'm happy that Amazon decided to knock Matt's block off in terms of the book. And I'm very happy that because of that, that miscategorization gets fixed. I kind of wish the miscategorization hadn't happened in the first place. That'd be my hope. But anywho, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I want to hear what your thoughts are on Matt's indoctrinating children with his terrible, terrible literature. As always, everybody, if you want to support the channel and what I do, there were plugged sponsors earlier. There's also the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't hit them already. If you have not been a follower of the channel over on Twitch, consider doing that. And more than anything, it would be incredibly appreciated if you were to do me the giant favor of hopping in the description below, checking out either the merch store or the Patreon page, where you'll be able to support the channel regardless of what happens with ad revenue or anything YouTube or Twitch related. With that all said, though, as always, everybody, insert end of video tagline here.